My name is Mark Busbee, and I'm a husband, a father, a businessman, a 23-year vet of the United States Army, a member of the American Legion, Post 259 in Clinton, Maryland, and a proud patriot of the United States, just like many of you are. The examples I use regarding who I am can also be said of the next Congressman of Pennsylvania's 7th Congressional District, Bryan R. Lentz. I have known Bryan for the better part of 15 years, and during this time have seen Bryan achieve and succeed on many various levels. Whether it's during deploying with him in Bosnia as well as northern Iraq, becoming a successful defense attorney, or marrying and starting a family with his beautiful wife Jen, Bryan has the character and fortitude to provide excellent service to the residents of the 7th Congressional District. To give you an example of the character Bryan possesses, I would like to take you back a few years to the summer of 2003. During this time, I was a deputy commander of the 416th Civil Affairs Battalion, located right up the street here in Norristown, PA. Our unit had just received its warning order to prepare for battle, but we were going to enter into the Battle of Iraq. There are many emotions that leaders go through, but they must be put aside in order to lead troops into battle. I was tasked by the battalion commander to relay this information to the 3 company commanders that were under us, giving them the warning order to prepare their soldiers for battle. After having a positive conversation with 2 of the commanders, I was deeply disturbed by the conversation I had with the 3rd commander. After giving the warning order to this 3rd commander, I was shocked to hear from this commander that he was on a special mission by the commanding general of our civil affairs unit, and that mission took precedence over taking his own people into battle. In other words, he was not interested in leading his troops on the most important mission to many of them for their lives. The conversation lasted about 5 minutes for me. The brief conversation with this commander was all I needed in determining I needed someone else to lead those troops. His actions told me that he was selfish and self-serving. I immediately told the commander that I would give him a call within an hour to discuss next steps, and quickly hung up the phone on him. Given the severity of the situation, I made only one call. Bryan and I had kept in contact with each other, but I had not spoken to him for a couple of months. Bryan had completed his commitment to the Army and had been out of the military for about 4 years at this time. I called Bryan to tell him that our unit was going to be activated to fight in Iraq, and that I needed him to lead a company into battle. Bryan said only 3 words to me, and it still resonates in my head to this point. He said, "Count me in." He never asked, "Let me think about it." Never asked when it was going to happen, whether it was tomorrow or 3 months from now. Never asked what was in it for him. Never even said, "Let me get my affairs in order." In fact, Bryan didn't ask any details of the mission at all. What he did understand was that the United States, the Army, the 416th Civil Affairs Battalion, and I needed him more than ever. For me, I needed Bryan more than ever because I need to be surrounded with people I can trust to make sure everyone gets home safely. Given the task of leading 141 soldiers into battle, I needed somebody of high morals, immeasurable courage, unquestionable integrity, totally accountable for their actions, and most important, demonstrating the leadership needed in order for his soldiers to have the respect needed for unit cohesion. After talking with Bryan about the task at hand and his 3-word response, I was happy to play Donald Trump, calling the current commander and tell him, "You're fired." During our time together in the 416th Civil Affairs Battalion, Bryan has had a knack for quickly understanding the task at hand in order to build unit cohesion. He has never turned away from difficult situations and, in fact, has sought troubled situations in order to apply leadership to gain a positive outcome. While in Bosnia, Bryan was in charge of the Community Infrastructure Rehabilitation Programs projects, overseeing multiple programs in excess of $5 million. Bryan accomplished this by bringing together 7 different nationalities and speaking all 7 different languages, and got them to focus on one goal: the completion of projects for the good of the Bosnian nation. Bryan had a similar role in Iraq. As a company commander of a general support company, Bryan and his company divided up into 12 teams, and his company was responsible for identifying, scoping, and completing 80 projects in excess of $40 million. These projects provided medical, infrastructure, electrical, safety, and water to the civilian populace surrounding northern Iraq. The examples I use demonstrate just a few of the qualities that Bryan possessed. He is a selfless leader, continuing to put the needs of others in front of his own. He is an outstanding communicator, able to take complex situations and simplify them so that all can understand and unite under one cause. Admiral Arleigh Burke, a distinguished veteran of World War II and Korean War, as well as being the Chief of Naval Operations for President Eisenhower's administration, once said, "Leadership is understanding people and involving them to help you do a job. That takes all the characteristics like integrity, dedication to purpose, selflessness, knowledge, skill, as well as determining not to accept failure." Bryan has all these characteristics to be a great representative for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But his true purpose of providing never-ending servitude will distinguish him as the best candidate for the citizens of the Pennsylvania's 7th Congressional District. As we look to the future, we need to have faith in being led by men and women that carry a true commitment to family and community and an intense desire to achieve. Bryan's drive, focus, and determination to be the best are traits will serve him well as our next congressman. Thank you.